Themes of our annual review so far, and which have been completed and shared with each one of you in the past, are social development in Pakistan. It was published in 1998. Social development in economic crisis, which came out in 1999. Towards poverty reduction came out in 2000. Growth inequality and poverty 2001. The state of education in 2002 and 3. Combating poverty, is growth sufficient in 2004. Trade liberalization, growth and poverty in 2005-06. Women at work in 2007 and 8. And our next forthcoming, which hopefully we tend to launch in the last week of December in Karachi, is on the impact of the security situation on social development. Again, a very relevant and a pertinent area. I wouldn't be taking much of your time, but I would like to thank each one of you for being there with us this afternoon. And I hope that you would benefit with the findings of the 2 research reports, which you will take on the way out. But before I leave this rostrum, it would be very unfair on my part if I do not thank the team members of my SPDC. I would particularly like to mention the name of Mr. Harun Jamal and Mr. Nadeem Ahmed, 2 principal authors of the 2 research reports. Besides, I would like to thank Mr. Rizwan for formatting and signing, Fawzia for being there and for arranging and organizing the entire event in just 5 working days. Asif for being there invariably with me on every occasion to meet the deadline. Rafia for being there again to actually ensure that the invitations are sent. Ms. Negat Sitar is just sitting over here, a very kind, gentle lady, for being there, going through the at least 3 drafts of the reports and doing the technical editing. Summer, the young lady who was standing over here, she's running temperature, but she came to be here with us. And of course, all my other team members at the SPDC. Thank you so much. I'm not going to take much of the time, but I'm very sure about it, and hopefully also, I am sure, but I also do hope, that you would find the findings of the 2 research reports very relevant. These are credible researches which we do undertake at the SPDC, and you would find them to be useful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Dr. Gauss, next I'd like to call Mr. Kyle. If he could please share a few words with us.
Vice Chairman Pasha, Managing Director Khalida, colleagues from embassies in Islamabad, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you, Khalida, for inviting me to yet another report launching. The last time was in Karachi in May. I enjoyed it very much. Today, unfortunately, as you have been informed, I'm quite pressed on time for the simple reason that the Foreign Ministry in Oslo today is conducting a major crisis management exercise. And the embassy, our embassy in Islamabad, is heavily involved, so I have to rush back to the embassy very briefly after my intervention. And therefore, let me limit myself to 3 rather basic points. The first thing I would like to do is to put our support to the SPDC into a broader picture, namely the picture of the Norwegian Development Cooperation in Pakistan. We have supported development projects in Pakistan for 4 decades. Our budget is not that big. It's not comparable to what the Americans and the Brits have. We have something like $25 million a year. But concentration, both thematically and geographically, makes sure that we, at least we believe so ourselves, can in certain areas make an impact. The main priorities we have are education, health and good governance. But then I would like to add something which is always very important and particularly important to underline today. We have in all our projects 2 cross-cutting themes. And those are environment and sustainable development and gender equality. This means, for example, that Whereas some of our projects have improvement of the situation for women as the primary objective, all projects have this as an additional integral objective. So all Norwegian projects in Pakistan have a gender perspective. And the reason for this is, of course, simply that we are convinced that gender equality is crucial for development. Let me give you one example. The major development tasks ahead of us are formulated in the Millennium Development Goals. And we know that many of these goals will not be met by 2015 unless we at the same time are able to empower women and improve their situation and position in our societies. And as you all know, Pakistan somewhat lags behind. And the situation for many women in Pakistan is difficult, and their daily life may be a struggle to make ends meet. But, and this is then a point I would like to make, it's important that we may say we know this on a factual basis, and in order to be convincing on gender-related issues, it is essential that we are able to base our arguments on facts. And our support to the SPDC must be understood in light of this. We are assisting SPDC in conducting research to provide reliable, evidence-based information on gender issues in Pakistan. And ladies and gentlemen, my second point is that the research of the SPDC has inspired me to look rather unscientifically, but look into gender issues among the Pakistanis in Norway. This is a relatively large community, some 35,000. It's the third largest community, immigrant community we have, and the largest from outside Europe. And 35,000 is quite a big community in light that we have, not that few. That is my colleague from the embassy. We'll take up, Terry, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, I think, your telephone. Okay. Let me come to the point. In Norway, we are proud that the immigrants have integrated fairly well into our society. This is also true for immigrants with roots in Pakistan, but the picture is mixed. If you look at the group as a whole, you see that this community, the Pakistanis in Norway, the 35,000, they have brought with them some practices from Pakistan that do not fit very well into the Norwegian society. And when immigrants from abroad, from Pakistan, develop parallel societies, we see that in particular the women become somewhat isolated from the society around them. Some of them, not all of them, some of them end up with a very limited knowledge about the country in which they live. This weakens their possibility to defend their rights as well as to honor their obligation. Employment figures may help illustrate my point, whereas 70% of Norwegian women work, participating in the labor market. If you look at the Pakistani community, the figure is not 70, it's 32. And this is a very low figure. It's quite interesting, by the way, to compare with other immigrants group in Norway. You can look at the people, the immigrants in Norway from Sri Lanka. And then there you see that immigrant women in Norway from Sri Lanka, 61% of them participate in the labor market. So we have the figures 70, 32, and 61. And this reflects negatively on their children as well. Little contact with the Norwegian society has as a consequence that some of their children from Pakistani homes start education in Norway with rather poor knowledge of the Norwegian language. A few weeks back, I met a few Norwegian teachers that were visiting Islamabad, and I asked them, what is the biggest challenge you face related to immigrant children in your school? The answer came without any hesitation. They said, the parents. The parents are not able, if they are isolated from sort of Norwegian society, to follow up and support their kids at school. And now, my final point. Most of the projects run by Norwegian Embassy are very practical. We help deliver basic health services to women and children in Sind. We build or rebuild schools in part-02, to give you 2 examples. But we also support projects that provide us with crucial knowledge, including knowledge that helps us design projects and activities that can make a difference. And the research of the SPDC is therefore important. And Khalida, we are proud to be able to fund your gender support program. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Qual, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come speak with us. Next, I'd like to call Mr. Nadeem Ahmed to present his findings on his research. As Dr. Khalda said, this is the 3rd report in a series of 4. Mr. Nadeem Ahmed.
Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, the topic of my presentation is the socio-economic characteristics of female-headed household in Pakistan. The issue of female headship is an emerging phenomenon that requires a detailed analysis of various aspects of living conditions. With the changing patterns of economic production and social reproduction, there is a need to understand the traditional as well as the new role of women in the societies such as Pakistan. In developing countries, female headship of households is a new phenomenon that is largely understood and that is largely unexplored and under-researched. Moreover, there is not enough evidence of socio-economic characteristics of female-headed households that have the potential to influence development planning and formulation of gender-sensitive policies. As mentioned earlier by Dr. Khalda was that this is the baseline survey which has been repeated after 3 years with the same respondents. And the nature of this study is the panelist data we will create and analyze and with the same respondents. So the objective of the study is to look at the diversity in the socio-economic characteristics of female-headed households in Pakistan, build a proper understanding of the contextual factors that contribute to the formation of female headship, bring forward the overall well-being of female-headed households, besides identifying the nature and the level of segregation when compared with the male-headed household or non-female. The study also assesses the provision of basic social services and its impact on the decision-making process in female-headed households. And lastly, to understand the level of empowerment and decision-making authority of female-headed households within the female-head, as a female-head. The methodology is of the study based on the primary, on the collection of the data from the field survey. A total number of 13 districts were selected from the field survey in all 4 provinces of the Pakistan. And first we looked at the PSLM survey 2004 and 5, which gives us the share of the female-headed household in Pakistan. And applying those shares, we identified the total samples or sample size of the survey. For instance, for Punjab, we have decided that the share tells us that we are taking a total sample of 800 female-headed households. The share of Punjab would be 400 female-headed households. In Sindh, there would be 100, and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 280 female-headed households would be surveyed. And in Balochistan, since the share of the Balochistan is much lower, so only the 20 households will be surveyed. So in total, 800 households will be surveyed to identify this, to know the socio-economic characteristics total female. And the district was selected on the basis of the share within the province. So the district of Rahim Khan, Bhagalpur, Lahore, Faisalabad, Jhelum which is selected. And the other two criteria were the level of deprivation or development and the geographical spread, because we want to cover the whole Pakistan. Rahim Khan in the Karachi is in the south of Pakistan, and the Khairpur is in the northern part of the Sindh province. Punjab, when we entered in the Punjab, Rahim Khan in the south, and the Jhelum and Faisalabad covered the northeast and northwestern part of the Punjab province. Similarly, the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is divided into two, which is one is the Pashtun belt, the other is the Hazara belt. The Hazara belt consists of the Haripur, Mansehra and Abbottabad, and the Pashtun belt consists of the Nowshera and Abbottabad. And since the total number of households in Balochistan was only 20, we have decided to